I believe that Simply Learn is one of the best examples when it comes to engagement and nurturing, and it is especially more so important for B2B companies or in B2C companies, especially more in B2B companies or in any company for that matter, where the sales life cycles are fairly long. What do I mean by a sales life cycle? Sales life cycle is the average time it takes for a lead to become a paying customer. So in a B2B case, for example, these timeframes are upwards of 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. And in some B2C cases as well, these numbers can get a little stretched. And it is especially more applicable in those kinds of situations. Let's look at the simple example. Now, Simply Learn, as I said, is a edtech platform where you can learn, online various courses like digital marketing, data science, iOS programming, Android programming, project management, etc. For example, Kedar the second is interested in learning, say, digital marketing, and he comes and signs up as a lead on the Simply Learn platform. So he would get a communication on the first day saying that, welcome Kedar, congratulations on having taken the first step in building a career in digital marketing across channels, email, SMS, WhatsApp, browser notifications. Now, a few days after that, Kedar gets a communication that says, here are some of the latest and greatest blogs, specifically curated and handpicked for you, Kedar, right, which help you get started in your digital marketing journey. A few days after that, he gets testimonials of people just like himself who have seen career advancements after having taken this particular program. A few days after that, Kedar gets an invitation to a webinar conducted by an industry expert just like this one, which helps Kedar gain greater trust towards the brand. Notice in all of the communication so far, the brand has not done anything salesy. There is no sales pitch in all of these communications so far. Everything has been about adding value to Kedar's life. That's where the focus has been. But now, finally, in the next communication that goes around day 18, for example, the brand goes in for the kill, right? The slam dunk, wherein the brand actually says, Kedar, here's a 20% discount code, which expires in 48 hours, just to build a sense of FOMO. So Kedar can go ahead and make that purchase. What you see here is a classic marketing drip campaign. It's called drip because very similar to water dripping off a tap, one after another after another. You've got these communications going on one after another after another. That's why it's called drip. And you as a marketer, as an entrepreneur sitting in the background, you can stitch together all of these rules in an automated fashion, saying that on day 0, this needs to go out, this template needs to go out on day 4, day 7, day 11, etc. You can set up all of these rules for you to engage, nurture and warm up Kedar before he becomes a paying customer. Notice that the sales pitch came in at the end, after Kedar was warmed up, not upfront. All of this can be set up through something called as a marketing automation platform. I've given you here a bunch of different examples, which are some of the world's most popular marketing automation platforms. HubSpot, Acton, Marketo, Salesforce, of course, all of these are leading platforms in the world. But the bad news, however, is that most of these are extremely expensive. They are prohibitively expensive, especially if you're an early stage startup. Giving you here some names which are more value for money. 3 of them are Indian names, Fresh Marketer, Zoho, WebEngage, Active Campaigns, again a good one. All of these you can use while your scale is still fairly small, and it should more than service the needs that you have as a business. Especially if you're an early stage startup and or a B2B company, this is like an extremely important element of your marketing toolkit. So you certainly need to invest in a marketing automation platform. Lead engagement and nurturing can help you in a couple of different ways. The first is in the Simply Learn example that we just saw, where Kedar was converted as part of the transaction life cycle of that particular lead. Now, this can happen when you're playing a test match in cricket parlance, where you have the luxury of time. Because in the Simply Learn's case, I know that Kedar is not running away anywhere. My sales life cycle is 4 weeks. Historical data shows me that. On an average, a lead takes 4 weeks to become a paying customer because it's an involved purchase, high ticket value, 15,000-20,000 rupees. Kedar, it's not like buying pizza online. So Kedar is going to take his time to do his due diligence, do a lot of window shopping, competitor syllabus matching, who's the instructor, right? A lot of due diligence Kedar is going to perform. So in this particular case, I have the luxury of time. So I can bat like a Rahul Dravid. I can take my time to settle in. So I can warm up Kedar as part of that transaction life cycle. That works in cases where the sales life cycles are fairly long, like in the Simply Learn case or in the B2B case. If you're Infosys, for example, your sales life cycles are 12 months, 24 months, 36 months in a lot of cases. So you can spend that time in as part of the transaction life cycle to engage and nurture that audience. Now, what happens if you're not that lucky? If you're playing a T20 game where the sales life cycles are very small, like say ordering pizza online, Domino's Pizza, right? Kedar is in a hurry, he's hungry, he's impatient, he's not going to wait to be engaged and nurtured. He's going to make his decision in 5 minutes. So that transaction is gone. You can't do much for that particular transaction life cycle because the sales life cycle is very, very small. It's like a T20 match. In that particular case, what I can do is I can't influence that transaction, but I know that Kedar is a vegetarian who loves paneer toppings. I'm just taking that guess because Kedar is from Gujarat. I'm assuming that he loves paneer. So what I do is that after the transaction, I keep sending Kedar communication on, some of the latest and greatest pizza toppings which are there with paneer flavors, right? I keep sending him mouth-watering communication. So the next time Kedar is feeling hungry, he's feeling lazy, he doesn't want to cook at home, he wants to order pizza online, Domino's is top of mind. So I can influence in cases where the sales life cycles are very small. I can influence customer repeat behavior, customer loyalty, stickiness, brand recall. I can influence all of those parameters through engagement and nurture efforts. The third use case, of course, is refunneling users. I spoke about the marketing funnel, how a lot of people drop out of the marketing funnel. You can also refunnel these users back into the funnel so as to increase your ability to monetize. For example, at Simply Learn, we had this concept of dead leads, where the sales team had tried their best and given up on, and these people just didn't convert. Not because the targeting was wrong, just because they didn't have the ability to pay at that particular point in time. And a lot of these leads, we used to have separate drip campaigns focusing on reactivation and revival of these dead leads. That was something which was in place. The other thing that we also did was, for example, at Healthy Family, we had a lot of these users who had the app installed on their phone, but they had forgotten about it. They've not launched it in the last month. These were inactive users. So we used to use a lot of live content, like Instagram Lives, for example, as a means to reactivate these hibernating cohorts. Instagram Live, stream live on the app. For example, if say Kedar has not launched my app in the last 30 days, I used to use this as a hook to get him to launch the app. Because it's live content, he can come in and ask questions to my nutritionist who's talking about some trending health topic, like advantages of keto diet, advantages of vegan dieting, benefits of A2 milk, dangers of crash dieting, etc. I can talk to him about topics like these, and Kedar would also be interested. So refunneling users, that's the other very important use case for which you need to consider engagement and nurturing. Now, I understand that most of you here are business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs. You're a lot more comfortable with dhande wali terms, business jargon, a lot more than marketing jargon. You've been hearing a lot of marketing jargon so far. But if you were to translate this into business lingo and try to understand what are some of the key benefits of engagement and nurturing, there are two strong benefits. The first one is this: your sales team is going to be a lot more productive and happy. Any CEO that I work with, any startup founder that I have worked with, they always love the sales team the most. They are their blue-eyed boys. They look at the sales guys as the people who end up bringing in the money, the marketing team as the ones who end up spending their money. Unfortunately enough, despite being a marketer myself, I had to admit that. Now, through marketing automation, through engagement and nurturing, you can make your sales team a lot more productive. How is that? For example, let's say Kedar runs a company, he's an entrepreneur. He has a 5-member telecalling team who make 20 calls a day. They work for 20 days a month, which means they can get in touch with approximately 2,000 prospects in a given month. But what happens if their pipeline is 10,000 strong? How do they know who are the top 2,000 to call from this 10,000? That's where the power of marketing automation, power of technology, power of engagement and nurturing comes in. They might be using some unscientific method like last in, first out, or first in, first out, which may not necessarily be correct. But what you can do through marketing automation systems is that you can send marketing communication across channels, email, SMS, WhatsApp, browser notifications to all of these 10,000, and look at the kind of behavior and engagement that they exhibit to these communications. How many of them open my email? How many of them click on my email? How many of them visit my pricing page? How many of them visit my blog and spend upwards of 5 minutes reading content on my blog? How many of them register for my webinar? How many of them attend my webinar? You can look at data points such as these and create a blended lead score, which is a numeric number on a scale of 0 to 100. The higher the lead score, the greater is their ability to purchase, their probability of conversion. Now, all Kedar sales team now needs to do is to sort these 10,000 in descending order of lead score and call the top 2,000, right? The top 20 percentile. That's all. Now, this has two advantages. First is the sales team is spending time with those folks who have a greater ability to pay, which means their productivity and efficiency is being optimized, which means greater revenue, greater top line. That's the biggest advantage. The second byproduct of this is that the sales team is not spam calling the remaining 8,000 folks who are not quite ready to make a purchase decision, and thereby not eroding the brand equity of Kedar's brand. Yeah. So first reason, increased top line. The second reason why you need to consider engagement and nurturing via marketing automation platform is that marketing automation platforms such as these are by a factor of 10,000 and above more cost effective than CPC, cost per click, or CPM, cost per 1,000 impression based engagement platforms like Google or Facebook or other remarketing platforms. Which means that for the same marketing spend, you get to acquire more number of customers, which means your cost of customer acquisition starts coming down, which means your bottom line starts improving. So for two strong reasons, you need to consider engagement and nurturing. One, increase top line, and the second, increase bottom line. It's how long you need to continue your engagement and nurture efforts. This is not a perfect science, but a rule of thumb. You got to consider your engagement and nurture and your sales lifecycle itself as a relay race, with the marketing folks running with the baton for the first 3 quarters of the race and then handing off the baton to the salesperson in the home stretch for them to come in and close a sale. So you've got to have your engagement and nurture marketing campaigns run for approximately 3 quarters of your sales lifecycle. So for example, if you're Infosys, where your sales lifecycles are 12 months, you might be better off sending monthly newsletters over say 6-7 months. In the Simply Learn case, the sales lifecycle is 30 days, which is why in the example that we saw, the engagement and nurture campaigns to Kedar were stretched across 18 days. Now in the Simply Learn case, it would have been stupid on my part if I had sent Kedar 5 communications in 2 days. Kedar would have marked me as spam and unsubscribed, because I know that Kedar takes 30 days to convert. Why should I spam him? so much, so frequently in such a short time frame. Or the other extreme, if I were to send Kedar one email every month, well, that's taking it to the other extreme. Kedar would have probably gone with competition. He would have gone to a digital Vidya or a Delhi school of internet marketing. Right? He wouldn't have waited for me. That's what you got to do. So you got to space it out approximately, 5 to 8 touch points covered across 3/4 of your sales life cycle. That's how you have to space it out from an engagement and nurture perspective.